All right, so I think we're live now. Does Tom has his own time zone? Well, actually, it's kind of funny. Y'all know Sam. Funny story. On the way to starting today's show, I went in and scheduled today's live stream on YouTube, and I didn't notice that YouTube had changed the time zone that I was in from Central to Pacific. And then I said, "Where's my stream? Where did I go?" So that's right. And it's definitely been worse. Sam and I were talking off air just a second ago about the times that, well, he was talking about the time he's done it, and he was probably just being courteous not to mention the many times that I'd streamed live without any audio. So we certainly all do that ourselves.
Down the hall from me when I do the live shows every morning, if I don't turn my microphone on, I hear from way down the hall, sound. We're very technical up here. We don't have the IFBs that we can communicate back and forth with.
I got you. All right, so let's see. We've got a couple folks here the day after the storm. And we had this huge storm roll through last night. I mean, it was a mammoth hurricane. It was just churning and burning. I saw a message on Facebook from one of my buddies that lives close to me, and he said, I want to report all the damage at my house from the storm. He said I had to go out and rearrange the pine straw and put it back where it belongs, and it blew some leaves into my neighbor's yard. It was much ado about nothing.
This storm didn't quite perform up to what it had been sold as.
No.
It was supposed to become a minimal hurricane just before making landfall, and it didn't quite make that. It was supposed to go further to the west than it did, and I think basically it went just barely to the west of you guys.
Yeah. I mean the eye,
of the storm,
for what that's worth. Yeah.
The eye of it, yeah. And
Right.
and most of the activity was on the eastern side anyway, where you are.
Yeah, we just had a lot of rain. We've had thunderstorms where we've had more rain. Holy cow. All right, so Sam's volume needs to come up. I was wondering that. Let's pump him up a little bit here. Let's give him a little extra gain. All right, Sam, how's that?
Well, I can talk about storms, or we can talk about streaming, but we're testing the volume right now, so
Yeah,
somebody else has to tell me how it is.
Okay, I think we're getting close. But Kenny's one of those old guys. He was hard of hearing.
Well, we may not have enough gain.
Yeah, that's right. They don't make enough gain for some people. Oh, that's too good. Rudy said that's better. It's funny, when I was a kid, and I remember looking forward to the turn of the century, to the year 2000. I said, I'm going to be 45 that year. I'm going to be ancient. Oh my gosh. And that day's come and gone. Yeah. All right.
There was a lot of turmoil about the Y2K and all the things that were not going to work when the time changed to the new century and all. And of course, I was the mayor then, and I had reporters wanting to talk to me after midnight just to see if everything worked. And I told them it's going to work.
Sure.
And it's nothing to it, but yeah.
One of my buddies was the managing editor of the Mobile Press Register at the time, and he said that he'd heard that the governor of Alabama and all of his top aides were going to be in a bunker that night just in case.
Yeah, I wanted to be asleep then, but
yeah.
had to stay up for the reporter.
Well, I think human nature is, well, at least my nature is to overreact most of the time. Yeah. Just think how bad it could be. Oh my gosh. And if it's not that bad, then you're relieved. But if you're not prepared for it and it's bad, you're like, oh, well, I wish I had. All right. Gabby says we have perfect sound. Kenny said that we speak the truth. And Otis is coming to us from Texas. Yeah, if you're watching now, I do want to say we're still in pre-show here, even though we're starting in a minute and 41 seconds. that the embed code that I'm using in my WordPress website to bring you guys the YouTube feed, I tried for probably 20 minutes this morning to get it to allow full screen. And every time I put that text into the embed code, when I went back and saved it and then went back later and checked it in WordPress, it had taken that out or had disabled it. It just wouldn't work. So my apologies to those of you that are watching us on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com. You're going to have to go to either YouTube directly. Yeah, that's the place. That's here's the deal. Here's the deal. You want to pop out the chat and then go to YouTube directly and just click the little YouTube icon there, and that'll do it. There you go. All right, looks like Dan Slider with PI Engineering is giving you a shout out, Sam. And
hello, Dan.
And Dan, you'll be nice to know Sam and I were talking about the X keys in the pre-show, and so we'll catch that in just a minute. Don't give away anything, Sam. Don't give away anything.
I'm not going to say anything till you ask me a question then.
Yeah, that's right. Sam's like, I don't want to get spanked. Okay. All right. Well, let's see if we can't start the show on time today for a change. And Sam, I'm gonna mute your mic, which is always dangerous, but I'm gonna do that. And so we got Sam muted. So Sam, if you need to cough or hiccup or answer a call here during the monologue portion, we'll let you go with that. So let's get to that shot. And oh yeah, what was it? One second here while I gather my thoughts. It's a major effort. What did we want to do? Okay, I think it was multi-view. A web browser. No. It was playlist. Okay, got it. All right, I think we're good. All right, let's see if we can get this show started the way it's supposed to. You ready? Here we go. Well, hello. Welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. And we survived the storm. Whoa! There was a massive hurricane, according to the weather people, that was supposed to pass through our area last night. Turned out it was just a minimal thunderstorm. And, of course, we did all the hurricane prep. We brought in all the chairs and took down all the plants, and I set up a live stream in the backyard so that people could watch this roaring monster come through and bend the trees over, and you could hear the roar of the wind in the background. And it was a I won't say it was a flop, but it was totally underwhelming. So if you turned in for that live stream last night and all you saw was raindrops and heard the occasional patter, then you saw what was actually going on. It was fun. It wasn't fun, but it was funny, especially considering all the preparation, the hours of preparation that I'd made, because I knew that it was going to take everything that we had in the backyard and throw it against the neighbor's house and break all their windows. So it's a good thing that it didn't do all that. And Dan's right. It's a good thing we've got a weather guy on the show today to explain all about that. No, Sam Rikard is here. Sam is the weather mayor from Olive Branch, Mississippi, and he does a really cool daily weather report and uses vMix for it and uses X keys. And he's going to come on in just a few minutes and talk all about that. But first, before we get there, I did promise Jean, because last night on the live stream, we were doing a series of automated shots, of automated cuts. and we had used the playlist function in vMix and simply set up just a 2-shot playlist and had it, one was the shot of my backyard that I had as a multi-view, and in the corner of the multi-view up here, I had a radar that was superimposed in there. And then that was on for 10 seconds, and then for 5 seconds, the radar went full screen. And that was on for 5 seconds, and then back to the backyard shot, and it just completely cycled through that. And that's just a function of the playlist, Jean. So if you look up playlist in the vMix help, you can do it. And it was, Dan is making fun of me in the chat room. By the way, if you haven't seen it, the chat room, you can come over to the chat room at easternshorebroadcasting.com. If you're watching us on Facebook or Twitter or Periscope or YouTube directly, you want to get in on the chat because we're not following the other chats today. I'm just not good and I'm not smart enough. I'm just not smart enough. I'm lazy. So the storm was interesting, and it did give us a chance to play with vMix a little bit and play with a new camera. We used the Dahua. It's not new. It's been on the shelf for a while. Actually, it's a 4300S. It's an IP cam, so it doesn't have any audio. And last year when we were doing the hurricane streams, the big comment was, Tom, it's really nice, but we need to hear what's going on. So I found some I found some MP3s of whistling wind, and I played those during the live stream last year. It wasn't very authentic. Here's the wind going, and the rain's going drop, 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 drop. So this year it was all real. But the challenge was getting audio out there since the camera doesn't have audio, and I found a wired lavalier mic on my shelf that had a 20-foot cord. Not the kind of thing that you generally would find hanging around. But I did, so I tossed it out through the door and hung it up in the rafters of the back porch, and hopefully and what I realized was it wasn't picking up any audio. I cranked it up full blast, and so I had to sort of, it's one of those things. My wife said, it wasn't real if you had to do all those other things. Well, it's just like a football game when they use the parabolic mics on the sideline. They're just amplifying the noise that's already there. And so you get to hear the crunch of people hitting with their pads. So what I did is I thought, okay, well, what makes a rain sound? Well, what about some raindrops falling on like a tin pie plate? So I put a pie plate out there, and what I got was a lot of metal roof sounds, tank, 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 tank. But it didn't have that kind of wind and hurricane rain sound. So I experimented with other devices out there to help amplify the noise and make it sound more realistic. Finally hit upon a folded tarp, and that worked until the tarp filled up with water, and then it wasn't very good. So anyway, that's the story on that. It was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun setting it up, and it was a bust for the rest part of it. If you'd like to know how to do some of these fancy kind of things, and you say, Tom, I know a little bit about vMix, your favorite software that you are a reseller for. Slip that little hint in there. But I don't know as much as I'd like to know. Well, we're doing our vMix 101 class again next month in October. And we'll have some information on our website soon about that. And so you can go through. It's going to be, we're not sure if it's a 4 or 6 week class. We'll figure that out and get that on there. And that takes you through the basics of operating vMix and all the little tips and tricks you need to do. Now, we're not going to go into depth about a lot of those tips and tricks because we just want to make you aware that they exist and show you where to go to find them. And then we'll have discussion about it, and then you can kind of get in and use them some more. And you learn you learn by doing. You don't learn by watching. You don't learn by listening. You learn by doing. We're also offering a vMix 201 class. So for those of you that have got vMix down pat pretty well, but you want to get into a few selected areas of vMix on a deep dive, we're going to be doing that, and we'll have that on the website as to what the content of that is too. And if you took the 101 class and there's some things that you'd like to know about in the 201 class, let me know, and we'll see if we can't get that as part of the syllabus for that class. That's going to be in October. These are live classes. They're online, and they'll include group discussion. So we want to see your face and hear your voice and have you part of the class. That's a lot of the beauty of the class, is the relationships that you make, the people that you end up being pals with, kind of video pals with, and that's a lot of fun. Kirk says, he's in chat. Thank you, Kirk. The check's in the mail. He says, hey guys, great class, take it. So there you go. The other thing is, I'll make a mention that our workbench, or our workbenches where we build our custom PCs, are empty right now. So if you're thinking about a custom PC, now is a good time. And you say, well, Tom, I know a lot about this stuff. I could do this myself. And you probably could. But think about it. If you're a member of the church and you're thinking, I'll build a PC for the church and we'll save them a bunch of money, who are they going to call? They're going to call you for the next 10 years. Yes, they are. And when it breaks, they're going to expect you to come fix it. One way to avoid that and to take the pressure off and to give yourself some peace of mind is to have somebody like me build it for you, and then you've got somebody that's responsible for the hardware and, of course, the software, because we're going to be using vMix. And then you've got somebody that will answer the phone, and you're kind of off the hook, which, as you think about it, probably works in any business scenario. If you want to make sure it works right out of the box, and you don't want to spend 3 to 6 months kind of getting it ready before it's really ready to go. So that we can help you with. You can shoot me a note, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, or go to the contact page there, and we'd be happy to talk with you about what you need. So that's all the preliminary stuff. Yeah. So let's bring in this weather guy. Yeah, and all the times that you were going to go to the beach, think about this, all the times you were going to go to the beach and it rained, now is a chance, if you're in chat, to blame this guy and to make sure that he gets all the credit for all those other weather guys that had the wrong diagnosis. So let's bring Sam in. Sam, with that introduction, gosh, you don't stand a chance. So glad to have you on the show.
Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
good
right.
to be here.
Just toss you under the bus.
Yeah, people ask me about my accuracy compared to other weather guys, particularly the TV guys, and I always tell them I can be just as wrong as the other guys. So that's my response.
Well, and down here, and you're in Mississippi, I'm in Alabama. If you predict a 30 to 40% chance of rain, you're going to be right 9 times out of 10. I mean, the odds are with you.
You will. Yeah, and people get confused. Last week I predicted a 30 or 40% chance of rain, and a part of town here just came a deluge with almost 2.5 inches of rain, and I was catching heat about, what about this 30% chance of rain? It's pouring down now. And I said, yeah. I was right.
Yeah,
I was right. 30% of the area where it got rained on today.
That's right. That's right. So you do now. Let me set the stage here a little bit. You used to be the mayor of Olive Branch, Mississippi, and now you're a weather guy. That's a heck of a transition.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit, just a smidgen about how you got from there to here.
Both of those fields, you have to be very adept at BS. So that's why that's why I moved from politics. If you way back up in time. I worked for Bell South for 25 years, and then became mayor of Olive Branch, and was mayor of Olive Branch for 16 years. And the weather side of the story is just a passion I've always had all my life, from when I was just a little kid, and always interested in the weather and always watching it and trying to figure out what it was going to do. So in about 2006, I became aware of the distance learning program at Mississippi State in meteorology. So I started taking that. It took 3 years. So at the end of 2009, I had a certificate of broadcast meteorology from Mississippi State, and I started that process just because I wanted to learn more about something that's always been my passion, and that just kind of moved on into some involvement with Memphis, Tennessee TV stations, about 3 different ones of those, behind the scenes, basically learning how they do the shows and learning the green screen concept. And I tell people that I was almost good enough to be on real TV. Just almost, but not quite.
But now
So
you
here
are.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I mean,
I
now
am.
you're
In fact,
now
I
you're
told
doing the
somebody,
show.
If you can't hire on at a TV station, just create your own, and then there you are.
And so you did.
So you know, I'm live here on a local community channel that's officially called a PEG channel, a Public Educational Governmental Channel, every morning, and also we live stream that, and we live stream the programming 24/7.
Right.
You know, out of this facility here. So I am very lucky that, you know, I was the mayor of this city, and the opportunity to operate this cable channel came up after I left office, and the current mayor asked me if I wanted to get involved in it, and I said, hey, heck yeah.
Smart
You know,
guy.
They pay for a lot of the equipment, you know, so that's a good thing.
And the current mayor figured, you know, he could keep Sam out of his hair if he gave him something to keep him busy.
Well, the current mayor has a very similar hairstyle that I do, so, you know, it's not a hair issue.
It's
But
not
he
a
may
hair
have
issue.
thought that if he kept me busy and happy, then everything would be better for both of us.
Sounds like it works. Sounds like it works. So
Yeah.
tell me about your setup. Tell me about what you're using there, and tell me about your studio, where you've got that. I see Dan's already
Okay.
posted a link to your Facebook page in the chat.
Okay.
So we got
well,
that
good for
on
him.
there.
Yeah, I can't see the chat. I have too many monitors around me, and none of them have chat up, so I can't tell what's going on there. But I have I use vMix Pro, and I have an X-Key 68 that I use to change some of the scenes, and multiple computers in here because I do traffic also in the morning, so I wanted the ability to put about 4 or 5 traffic cameras up at the same time. So I have to have, I think I have a laptop and 2 PCs and multiple monitors, you know, doing that, and I use desktop capture and NDI to bring those into vMix. And of course, the city here provides a room here with a painted green wall in the background, and the lights and the internet. So that's
Wow.
basically my setup. You know,
Nice.
if you wanted to know my day, you know, my day starts about 3:45 every morning when at home, as I create the forecast for the Memphis area, Jackson, Tennessee area, and Nashville area Facebook pages. And I put the graphics together there. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes. Then I take my long 2-minute trip to City Hall to this studio, and you know, turn vMix on and make sure PowerPoint has loaded in that magic cloud into my system here. And then I do about 7 different videos that I post, you know, on Facebook and area websites. And then I'm done most days at 8 o'clock. You know, my day is done unless severe weather happens, and then I may go live on Facebook to my friends and fans on my meteorologist Sam Rikard Facebook page. And then in the afternoons now one day a week, I'm back in here, and I create a weather forecast for Hillsdale, Michigan for our friend Scott Piana for his news show every Wednesday night. So I am very pleased with vMix and its stability and the multiple things that you can do with it. And I'm finding out every day that I'm still basically a vMix novice. You know, I'm probably just scratching the surface in what vMix will do for me, because I use PowerPoint as graphics, and I use a PowerPoint clicker, you know, as I change from scene to scene in front of the green wall there. And if I want to do something different, if I want to show the live radar shot or one of our M.Dot cameras like is over my shoulder right now, then I have large buttons on the X-Key 68 that I use, and you can see it over my shoulder back there on that black thing. That's my podium right there. That's just off camera if I'm in front of the green screen, where I can change things on the X-Key 68. And of course, if you saw me in here live, you know, I have on a sport coat and a white shirt and a tie, but from the waist down, it's short pants and tennis shoes. So, I'm not going to dress up like that today, though.
No. What are you in a position where you can give us a weather forecast and show us your setup in use?
Oh yeah. I can do that, and then maybe a little bit later in the show, I'll use the PTZ optics camera that I have over in the corner, and just give you a quick tour of the room. Move it around and explain, what I have if you want me to. But do you want me to head to the green screen right now?
Yeah. Let's see that.
Okay, I'll take this off and head over there. I'm gonna put up the scene that I normally start with. I have to lean in. You told me not to lean in, but I have to. Right there. Okay, and I'm gonna head to the green screen. I'll be right back. I can't hear you now while I'm doing this.
Okay. All right. Well, then we shouldn't ask him any questions. So while Sam is doing that and getting that ready. Goodness.
Well, hello everyone. I'm meteorologist Sam Rikard with obtvlive.com. It's a warm and muggy afternoon with temperatures in the middle 80s as clouds are moving in from what was never was a hurricane, really, Tropical Storm Gordon, as it moves up with all its moisture up the Tennessee-Mississippi state lines. I know folks down where Tom is right now are still catching some of those bands of rain that are moving through the area. There's a slight risk for severe weather as this system moves to the north. Rain band totals, the heaviest bands follow the track of the potential storm. Here in our area, we may get an inch of rain over the next 5 days, but that's about it. Still some flood watches and warnings in effect all the way from Alabama through Mississippi up into Arkansas. And look at temperatures that we expect for highs this afternoon. Middle 80s in our area, a little bit cooler where the rain is falling across Mississippi and Alabama today. And here's the 7-day forecast. Folks that are watching right now, I won't go through it right now, but this is a show that I do every morning here in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Now, Tom, I'm headed back to the console, and I'm listening for your direction. Let's see if I can find you now.
See if you can find me. That was awesome. That was
that?
great. Whoops, there's me and more me.
3 different ways. I got you 3 different ways now.
Yes.
I don't think that's the one I wanted, was it? Let's see.
No, I don't think so. We just want you back. There you go. There we are.
How about that? Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. And so right behind you, that green screen where we see the traffic going back and forth, that's the green screen. That's where you were just doing the weather. Oh, wow.
That's where I was, and I did not, Dan, I did not use the X key this time, but it has certainly been a very much needed added component to my operation. But if something was happening and I needed to show live radar, then I would just reach right up and touch the large, 4x4 button, and I would have the radar right behind me to talk about if I had a traffic accident that we were watching with our Mississippi MDOT cameras. I would hit that key and talk about that. And I can go to a multiple if you give me just a moment, like right here. This is a scene that I start out with a lot of times where I show multiples. You have traffic cameras in different locations and then the radar in the top corner. So.
And that's a multi-view in vMix?
Yes, that's the multi-view in vMix, yeah. Bringing in all of those different cameras via, one of them's desktop capture, the others are NDI.
Right. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Yeah. That's pretty awesome.
Okay.
So you're using vMix, you're using PTZ optics, you're using X keys. Yes. That's cool. Now the camera that you're on right now, this is a Logitech, right? The camera that you were on in front of the green screen, what was that?
Well, that's just a cheap Canon, what is it, HF50, I believe, something like that. Okay. Isn't that the number? Yeah, it's just like $120, $130 camera. But I found when I first got it, I thought, well, this thing's too tiny. It just won't do what I want it to do. But I don't really need it to do much.
Right.
Just show me, from about 10 feet away or 8 feet away.
Right.
So it is more than adequate for inside the studio things. And in fact, when a couple of 3 buddies of I do Friday night football, we use one just like it to video the ball games, and works well. We have 2 or 3 others, but we use one of those. Yeah.
Well, I have to admit that I used the Canon HF-R 100 initially, moved up to the 200. They're now to the R HF-R either 800 or 900, which is also the 80 or the 90. So you're using the 50, which is right in the middle.
Right.
And each one was just, you know, an incremental improvement on the other. But it's a great little cam, and you can get them on eBay for $100. The HFR series. Now the HFG series, the Vixia G series, is a step ahead. It's a $1,000 camera. Yeah. It's got great Canon glass, and it's a good cam to use both in a studio and in
Canon's
sports.
refurb site for the the G40.
The G40. Yep.
You know, I kick myself because late last year they had them on sale for like $599.
Oh my goodness!
And I didn't do it, and now they've jumped to $799, which is still significantly cheaper than they are new, but they're always out of stock. So I check it every day. Because the next time it's $799, I'm going to buy one of those. You know.
Today I'm using the PTZ Optics. Which one is it? It's the 12X here in the studio. It's an NDI cam, but I'm using the SDI version of it just because I've got it hooked up that way today. But I also use it HDMI and NDI, and IP without the NDI sometimes too. And it gives a great one of the things I like about that, especially in a studio. And Sam, you've faced this before, is if you have a fixed camera and the shot's not right, you've got to go over to the camera and you've got to readjust it, maybe zoom it a little bit, and then go back and check. And then if that's not right, you go back, and so you can spend 10 minutes getting that camera. And heaven forbid if somebody moves your tripod, you've got to start all over again. But being able to use
that's
this,
an issue I have in here, trying to fine tune my camera shot in front of the green screen. You know, I either zoom or not zoom. I move the camera back, I raise it up, I let it down. And then you can come over here to vMix and do many of the same things, but you can't do them in front of the camera.
Right.
You know, you have to do it and run back in front of the camera and say, well, gosh, that didn't work. You know, and so you just make sure that you have that preset that you liked saved, right?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so and you always go back to that and start over.
But you need to take that little PTZ camera that you've got on the shelf over there and use that as your broadcast camera, because then you can use the handheld remote and do all those changes in seconds.
I could do that,
That's the ticket. It took me a while to figure out the big advantage of the PTZ cam as a studio cam for that reason. It just the glass is good, the optics are good, all of that's good, but the ease of being able to point the remote at it and get it to do what I want it to do, or even use the remote control through vMix for that matter. Yep. So enough about me. Let's talk more about you. What's on the horizon? What are you looking forward to in the future?
Well, you know, I'm doing what I love to do right now. I've been retired from the mayor's office for 5 years now. Okay. And I heard someone say back before I retired that the secret of a happy retirement is that you find something you love to do and you use your retirement money and you basically say, I'm paying myself to do what I love to do. You know, so that's what I'm doing, you know. And what's happened with what I do over the last year or so is it's moved from being a totally funded by me hobby to an income source, you know. And one of the reasons, one thing that helped was when I made the StreamCon conference down there in Atlanta with you guys, and then ran into Scott Piana and others, you know. And Scott just looked at me and says, "What, do you make any money with it?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, have you ever thought about selling advertisement on your videos?" And I said, "Well, I haven't." You know. And then in about August, a local real estate company here, we were chatting about what I do, and they said, "Well, how many fans and followers do you have?" And I think as of this morning on my page, I have 6,850 followers. So they said, "Have you ever thought about selling advertisement?" And I said, "Well, I have," but and they said, "Well, we want to do it." And you know, and then they recommended somebody else. And right now, I have about 7 different things I put together in the morning. A couple of weeks ago, somebody said, "I want to advertise on what you do. Can I?" And I said, "Well, I'm gonna have to get very creative and come up with some other kind of weather gimmick to sell. I mean, because you can only do so many 7-day forecasts, the day planner, the bus stop forecast, the weekend forecast, those type of things. But
yep.
And of course, a thing that has nothing to do with streaming, a friend of mine has to do with weather, but not streaming. About last November, he's in charge of logistics for a company that has a base in Memphis, but their headquarters is in London. And product comes into them that's very time sensitive. They have to get out, within 24 hours or so, and they had run into a big northeastern snowstorm that had caused them problems. And he said, Sam, can you help us by giving us a weather synopsis every morning about where in the country will we potentially have logistic problems with air travel, basically. Land-based travel they're not so much concerned with, but everything comes in to the FedEx hub here in Memphis, and I said yes. And that's, to be honest with you, it's been very lucrative. So, my hobby has turned into an income producer, and that was never my intent. Now, I don't mind it at all that it is, but it was never my intent. My intent years ago, as I said, when I started my journey in Mississippi State, was simply to learn more about something that has always amazed me, and that was, why does the weather do what it does? So now I know a little bit about why the weather does what it does. But I can't tell you why the hurricane didn't blow hard yesterday.
No, it didn't. It sure didn't.
Yeah. But if you're going to have a hurricane, that's the best kind to have.
Well, it's not very exciting.
It's not, and people have the misunderstanding that since I call myself a weather nut, that I'm a storm chaser. And they say, are you a storm chaser? And I said, no, I'll run away from storms. I don't intentionally drive to storms. I'm a forecaster, is what I am. I'm not a chaser.
Right. Well, we were a babysitter last night. Yeah, it was a little baby storm, is what it was. Maybe when it gets older and grows up, it'll turn into a full-size hurricane.
One will show up. Don't worry.
Oops, excuse me, Sam. You've been very gracious to hang out with us today. We're going to move to the post show in just a minute, and I hope you'll hang around because some folks in the chat room have got some questions for you. Okay, great.
Okay, good.
Great. Well, many thanks to Sam for coming on the show today and for sharing what's going on, of how basically he took a hobby something he had a passion for, that he enjoyed doing, that he was spending money on, and he got good enough at it that people decided that they didn't want him to spend money on it anymore. They wanted to give him money so that he could. No, it's not exactly what they did. They said, hey, this is quality stuff, and I want to be associated with it because this is a guy that's got it all together. Now, did they know about vMix or PTZ Optics or X Keys? No. But they knew what the result looked like, and they liked the result. And so hat tip to Sam for making it all work like that. Next week, we'll have who knows what we're doing next week. I get at this point in the show, and I'm like, oh, next week. Don't know what we're doing next week, but whatever it is, it's going to be great. You don't want to miss it. It's Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern. If you haven't already, please subscribe to us on YouTube. And you know what? You could like our Facebook page, Eastern Shore Broadcasting, or you could even ask to be a member of our Streaming Idiots group in Facebook. That would be pretty cool. And we'd love to be able to keep up with you and answer your questions there. But if you need me, you know how to reach me. What? Where'd it go? It's not there. Oh, there it is. Tom at EasternShoreBroadcasting.com, or hit the contact page at Eastern Shore Broadcasting. Oh, by the way, if you go to the vMix website and you look on the reseller list and you see that there's something there called a premium support, people that offer premium support. Yes, we offer premium support. So we're delighted to do that. And our phone number is on our website, and it's on the vMix website. So if you need to call us, you can look it up there. I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been Streaming Idiots with our special guest, Sam Rikard, who's staying after for a few minutes. Not like he's in detention or anything, but he's going to hang out with us for a few more minutes and answer some questions. Otherwise, we will see you guys next week. Have a great week, and we'll see you then. And we are out. Yes, we are. Sam, I think you're back.
I am here, yeah.
There he is. I did get his audio on. Good
Yeah.
deal. Good deal. So thank you so much for being on, man. That was great. That was awesome. And thanks so much for sharing the weather like that. That was very impressive. I mean, the guys in the chat room are just going nuts over it right now.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and read the chat room when
that's right.
when this is all over with. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's see. Okay.
You know, one thing I have.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of these days I'm going to take your course if it helps me with the vMix social side and being able to pull those live. You know, when I do a live stream, because every morning at 6:45 I do a traffic and weather broadcast out to 3 different Facebook pages, plus the ones we're live streaming to already from in here. And then I go back and look at everything, and everybody's going, hello, hello, hello. And I'm saying, well, I couldn't see you. You know, I didn't know what you were saying while I was on the air. So I need a way to see that one of these days.
Yes. Well, you know, that 3 different thoughts hit my tongue at the same time.
Yep.
Has that ever happened to you? Just all of a sudden, just this convergence of ideas, and I can't get them all out. Somebody asked just a minute ago, are you looking at a monitor when you're doing the weather?
I said that, yeah. When on the back wall at the green screen, in fact, you could, right near the M on that M dot, you can barely see one of the monitors. There's a 32-inch monitor on both sides of the green screen. Yeah, you can see the one over there. It's got the optics camera sitting right next to it in the corner of the screen. And then off to the other side is an identical monitor there. And when I'm looking at the camera there, over the top of the camera, up against the wall, on the back wall here is a 52-inch or 50-inch monitor. So, yeah, I'm looking at monitors every which way I turn, and that's the only way you can determine where you are on the map, really.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's so you've got 3 confidence monitors there. No matter which direction you're facing, you can see what's going on. Oh, that's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
So in order
and I picked all that up because.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I picked that up because I spent time at 3 of the Memphis TV stations. All of them were trying to get me to the point of being on air worthy, and obviously I didn't quite make it. But you know, I was able to observe their systems and the way they did things and all. And you know, I learned their software, which operates similar to, well, vMix is more of a production room type software, you know, than it is, you know, what the meteorologists would use. But as you said, you wear 3 hats, and I wear all those hats too when I'm in here, because I have to set the scenes up. I have to go do them and then come back and grab the recordings and upload them and all. So, but it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Without the monitors, you would be lost.
All right. We've got a request to see your studio, so if you can take us on a studio tour with the PTZ cam. And but before you go,
what I'm going to do is, yes.
Before you go, Ken wants to know what your source for the radar is. Is it something proprietary, or is it something that you just popped?
No, it's not proprietary. The radar that I normally use in here is it's GR level 3. You can just type that in the internet, GR level 3, and find that, and it's a one-time charge. Yeah, GR level 3. Gibson, I forget what it is, Gibson something is what it stands for, but GR level 3. And then I use at times the one called Radar Scope that you find more commonly on your iPads and iPhones and all. That's a $10 a year, I think, subscription for that. But GR level 3 is what I have in here that's on the monitor. And in fact, I'll switch to the big one. I don't think I did that for you right here. This is the way it looks here from the Memphis radar. And you can go over to your monitor and move it around, whatever, zoom in to it. See, we have light rain falling to the east of my area now. That's near Florence, Alabama. But let me find back where I am here now. GR level 3 I use for the graphics. Let me see. Let me find you now. Where'd you go, Tom? I've lost you.
Well, it's going to be the you and me.
Here you go. There you are.
There I
as
am.
I told you, there are too many modules in front of me for me to handle. But the graphics that I showed you that had the U.S. map with the fronts on it and the temperature and all that, that's a software that's called WSV3, and it's a subscription-based software now at about $240 a year. It provides almost, well, in most cases, broadcast quality graphics. That you can run live with radars. You can run computer model scenarios and all. I was lucky that I ended up as one of the original buyers, and so my one-time purchase carried over to so far. It's like vMix, all of their updates, that way. And they have a unique way of allowing you to use the software. I'm only allowed two devices. Well, you buy it and you say 2 devices to have it on, but right now, if I wanted to look at it on my computer at home, then all I have to do in this one here is go and deactivate it. Then I go to the computer at home and I activate it and it works there. When I want to come back here, I just deactivate it on that one and come back here. So that allows you to use it on every device that you have, basically, but only one at a time. That way. So I kind of like that. I didn't know that I was going to like that to start with because, I thought, well, that limits me to how I can use it, but it doesn't. So, but you asked about PTC optics, so I don't know how I ran this rabbit down the road, but
I chased
to the PT. Oh, you did. All right. Well, I'm going to switch to the PTC optics camera, and what you're going to see is the back of my head to start with from the PTC optics camera right now, and then I'll just give you a little walking tour of it if that's okay.
Oh yeah, that's great. Go ahead.
All right, you see me right there. This is the production side of it, where I'm looking at all of the, my vMix right here, and my multiple monitors. The big one up here is my big confidence monitor. That's the confidence monitor that I use, and I'm going to step out of, well, you can't see me, so I can step anywhere. We're going to look at, see if I can take you on a tour now. You don't need to see that anymore. We'll go up a little bit. And, I've got lights there. Let me go this way. We have fluorescence in the ceiling right above my head. Right there that I took your advice, and I've got all kinds of diffusing fabric on it now. The green wall is right there, of course.
Ooh, that's green.
Down a little bit. Yeah, it's chroma key green from Sherwin-Williams, whatever they have a code for it, and then they'll mix it for you and paint it for you. But then we head to the other confidence monitor, which you can see right there. That's looking at itself in infinity, I guess. And then you come on over right there. You see right in the middle is the PTC Optics 68. I didn't know if I would need the joystick ever, but I do have this PTC Optics camera that I thought one of these days I might want to use the joystick with. So I didn't need all the buttons, so I went ahead and purchased that, from you with the joystick. And I may or may not use it, but I have it if I need it. And then you head toward, well, you can see me right beside the Canon camera right there. And then, of course, there's another light. I have 2 lights that are shining on me when I'm in front of the green screen. And then one light that I didn't show you is down on the floor right at the base of the green screen and lights up the wall behind me, and then makes that shot a little bit better. It was causing problems with the camera, the webcam that we were using for the show today. It caused a big bright ball back in the back, so I did not have it on, but now you can hit, if I can get the right buttons on this PTC optic thing. All right, here. So here I am, and this, of course, the room is about 12 feet wide and 16 feet long, which is probably a minimal size to do what I needed to do. But yeah, I have two confidence monitors. I have this pedestal right in the middle of the floor right here that the PTC Optics controls our own. Let's see. Right
that
there.
Would be the X keys and, controls, right?
Excuse me, yes, the X keys. Why did I say that? Yeah. Yeah, but I think I can control the PTC Optics camera with the joystick ultimately.
Yes.
That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay,
and with
well,
the
that's
buttons.
Why I bought that.
You sure
yes.
can.
Yeah, I could. Yes, the X key 68, and that's where I stand. That's just off camera when I do my show. TV guys, you would notice show more of their body, when they're on TV, but I can't do that and have those controls right in front of me and keep them off camera like I wanted to do. So, and really in reality, it's probably better that I'm not showing all my body, when when I'm on TV. And I did the same thing again, didn't I?
Yeah, that's okay. It'll come back.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Well, at our age, nobody wants to see our body, so we're safe. That's right.
Well, I'm jumping back and forth. I got you there. Here we go. I'm back
there
where I should be now. It came back.
And Dan Slider's saying,
that's my setup here.
If we saw your whole body, you'd have to wear pants. So.
I would, yeah, I would. It's hot here in Mississippi during the summer, and I don't want to come all dressed up like I'm going to a wedding or whatever else in here with this hot temperatures and humidity. So, I leave a sport coat and 3 ties and a white shirt here. So when I get the show put together, I put that on really quickly, and I almost look professional, when I'm doing the show. So, yeah, you can look at my Facebook page and see the product with the dressed up look,
Kenny's got a question. Kenny wants to know what microphone you use when you're doing your weather. What mic do you use?
It's this lavalier microphone. It's a Pyle, P-Y-L-E.
Okay.
Pyle, it says Pyle Mic LCD is what it says.
Okay.
And it looks like the battery's getting low. Looks like the battery's getting low in it right now. So
and that's
knows,
a
like
wireless lavalier mic with a.
It's a wireless lavalier. Yeah.
With a hip transmitter and then a receiver.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Transmitter to a receiver and then into a PV USB 6, I believe, is what it is. Little soundboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's how the sound gets into vMix via USB. Yeah.
The Pyle is what's considered a value brand. So there'll be a lot of haters that say, "Oh, Sam's using a Pyle. Oh my gosh!" But it gets the job done, and you're in a public building, and if somebody walked in and walked off with it, it wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg to replace it.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot to be said for using it. A lot of it is, we can be equipment snobs, we can be hardware snobs and software snobs, but really it's not the stuff, the tools, it's the craftsman behind the tools. Because you put a saw in my hand and I can do some stuff with it, but you put the same saw in somebody's hands that really knows how to use that saw, and they can make me look like a rank amateur. And yeah. It's all about what you know, not what you're using. Although, good tools, a craftsman will tell you he likes to use good tools. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Works for me.
All right, so let's see what other questions we've got here. Yes, we got the radar question. Let's see. Jan says, how about a segment talking about outdoor activities suitable for the weather? Do you have I don't understand that question, so we'll skip that one. Let's see. Somebody says, is this live or recorded? Well, I think that's, we've figured that out.
I tell people I do every one of my videos live.
Yeah.
And then we send it out as a recording,
Right.
So it was live at some time. Yeah.
And Ken wants to know if you've ever covered an earthquake.
No.
Not really a weather event.
Supposedly. Well, the meteorologists, that's something they talk about, is earthquakes will be entered into the weather show, along with the volcano eruptions. You saw a lot of that in the weather shows, along with the Hawaii volcanoes. But, Memphis, supposedly sitting on the New Madrid Fault, is supposed to be prime and due for, a major earthquake. Supposedly back in about 1817, there was like an 8.7 or 9.2 earthquake north of Memphis in the New Madrid, Missouri area. So, everybody says that we will have a huge one of these days, but who knows? I guess the way the Earth's tectonic plates continue to move, there's pressure everywhere building, and something happens.
We're all under
pressure. And I did
pressure.
study all that in meteorology at Mississippi State, so they throw that in there.
How about that? Kenny's got another question. He said, how are you sending live to multiple Facebook pages simultaneously? Are you sending live to multiple Facebook pages?
I do. When I hit the stream button on vMix, I go up there, and when I say Facebook options, I'm sending to 3 Facebook pages at the same time every day.
At the same time? The same feed?
Yes.
To 3 different Facebook pages?
3 different ones. I'm an administrator on all 3 of them, but
right.
Yeah. I didn't know I could do that until just several weeks ago, because I thought you could only send to 1. So I was trying to send to YouTube and other things, but I got in there one day and I said, well, I'm going to try a second Facebook page, and it worked. And so then I tried a 3rd one, so it works. Yeah, I send to 3 different Facebook pages.
That's in vMix.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not using the Facebook cross-posting scheme.
No.
Okay.
No, I go down to the little cog wheel on stream, and when it comes up, that 1, 2, and 3, each one of them, you select the destination of Facebook,
right.
And it says, do you want to go to your timeline or to a page? And if I click on page, then it gives me my options. After I log into Facebook settings, I log in. Yeah.
So you're using the Facebook API to go to 3 Facebook pages at the same time. I didn't know you could do that. Sam, you are so cutting edge. Well done.
Oh, yeah. My grandfather said a blind hog will pick up an acorn every now and then. So that's the way I feel.
Yeah. I've got one of those acorns once too. Yeah.
I used to use a service called Joycaster.
Sure.
Which they may change the name to Switchboard or something now.
Right.
And I still have a subscription to them, and it works well. It's another step or two to make it work, in the process.
Right.
But I haven't used it now in 6 months. And now that I can, because really all I want to stream to in the mornings here is that, outside of what we're normally streaming to over our Charlie Helms WSN thing, is Facebook. Because that's where my viewers are right now.
Right.
So. And I found out, just like everybody else has said, a live broadcast brings in a whole lot more interest than just a video that I recorded an hour ago.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the live broadcast I did of the hurricane last night, I watched people, and I did it on my personal page. I didn't want to put it on the Streaming Idiots page or the Eastern Shore Broadcasting page, so I did it on my personal page. And I watched old friends, old girlfriends, old teammates, people that I haven't seen in 40 years, popping on to see what's going on in Tom Sinclair's backyard. And had it not been live, I don't think anybody would have been interested. Because the weather, seeing last week's weather, nobody's interested in last week's weather.
Yeah, they wanted to know what it was doing right now in your backyard.
That's right. That's right. And if something terrible was happening, they were just going to sit back and laugh. Say, poor Tom.
Don't go tell Facebook that I'm doing this if I'm not supposed to. So, be quiet.
Mum's the word. Mum's the word.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you're getting lots of kudos in the chat room. You'll have to go back and look at it later.
I'll read those later. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're just a gem to come on the show today, especially after last night's storm. What perfect timing. Although, if it had been a bitter, bigger, awful storm, it would have been even better, but it wouldn't have been good for people. So but hurricane season's still got a couple of months left in it, so we got time for something else.
Yeah, hurricane season runs through November, so really we're just past the peak time right now.
Right, we're just getting into.
Past.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if somebody wants to watch one of your
September.
reports, I'm going to put the full screen back up there again. And let's take off that other thing right there. There we go. So they can go in Facebook and do a search for meteorologist Sam Rikard. or in Twitter, they can go to the @WeatherMayor. But I tell you what,
Right.
if you go to Facebook and you put in Weather Mayor, I think you pop up. If you just do a search for Facebook Weather Mayor, you pop up.
Yeah.
So, all right.
And let me tell you a quick story how I got that Weather Mayor thing. If
Yes.
you want me to. I was at the Fox 13 affiliate in Memphis, and came in one day to practice with the chief meteorologist. And as I was leaving, I said, "Well, thank you." And he said, "No, thanks for doing the Weather Mayor." I said, "Oh, that sounds. I think I'll use that." So from then on, I've been the Weather Mayor.
There you go.
That way, and it's kind of you got to have a gimmick in this business, for people to remember you. So that's my gimmick, I guess.
There you go. There you go. All right, Weather Mayor, thank you for coming on board today. Appreciate it.
Anytime.
And folks, we will see you guys next week. If you need me before then, you know how to get me. Otherwise, we're going to cut to close and let the stream run out, and we'll see you later.